Hi YouTube, Regina here from Simply Fundamental. I'm coming back to you with a second video for the day, and my hair is actually on a different side. And I wanted to do that to talk about spending. I'm really a very simple person. I don't require a lot of I don't do fillers or Botox and there's nothing wrong with that. If people want to do that, that's fine with them. But for me, I'm pretty simple. I don't wear a lot of makeup. I'm really into just wearing clothes that are comfortable to me. And I don't need to, I'm not very fancy, if that's the best way to explain it. But I do spend money on my hair because my hair is important to me. But when I terms of my hair is, I'm not like, a do-it-yourself kind of person, so I will go get my roots done. But that doesn't mean that I don't look for ways to save money when it comes to doing those kind of things. I love going to a salon and getting it done. But I probably could use to go a bit more often than I do. For instance, I don't really have a lot of gray hair. So if you look at my hair, I don't have a lot of gray. But by my temples, I definitely have gray. And you could see it. I have a lot of gray showing up. So I go get my hair done, but I get the roots done, and I do what's called the touch-up. But instead of going probably every 3 to 4 weeks, which should probably be my range, I try to extend it and do every 5 to 6. First of all, I think it's good for me not to go as often because I don't know what those products do to my, internal systems, and I tend to be allergic to many things. But also, it's costly, and I consider myself a good tipper. I think I'm getting a service, and I want to be able to tip appropriately. And so if I'm going more often, it's going to cost a lot more out of our budget. So all I simply do is since I don't really have that much gray, is I just wear my hair differently. So you won't see me pull my hair up to this side because of my grays. I'll just wear my hair a little differently, or maybe I'll even put my hair down because of the grays. So that's an example of how I am still do things, but I'm just a bit more conscious and I spread out. So I'm using the appointment for as long as I can and extending it out. So I don't think 5 weeks is all that big of a difference, but I do know people who get their haircuts every 2 weeks. And yes, there are men who get their haircut every 2 weeks, and that could really add up a lot. Another thing that we do is, with regards is, I'm not really big into doing my nails. I actually even forget that I have nail polish on, and so when I do my hair, I treat myself and I get my nails done as well at that time. So you may see me hiding my fingers because there are times when I may have nail polish on and I didn't completely remove it. I mean, I'm pretty simple. Another thing that we do is we both really like to go out to eat, but I like to go out to eat, but I don't want it to feel, I love going out for coffee, I love going out to eat, but if it's going to start to feel the same and not special, then I may all of a sudden just go with a period of span and just not go out to eat for a month and a half. I don't want anything to feel, I want it to feel special when I do it. And I don't mean, I just don't want it to feel like, oh, it's Saturday, let's go out to eat. Oh, it's this particular day, let's do that. I spend money, I go out to eat, but I want the experience to feel unique and special to me. And so there were times, like for instance, in January, I did a complete month of no spend. There's no reason for me having to do a complete month of no spend, but it makes, when I go out again to eat, just that holding back and from doing it made it so special once we went out to eat again. So I really made it very enjoyable to me. So I like doing those kind of things. I also like anticipation. So although I consider myself a pretty spontaneous person, I actually like anticipation more than I like spontaneity. So if I'm planning a trip, we planned a trip to take our car down to Florida, and we took our car on the train. Now that's kind of costly. But I anticipated doing that. I anticipated taking the car on the train, sleeping on the train, just making the entire experience out of it. And I knew it was, we booked it months in advance. And to me, that anticipation, that joy of like waiting for the date to come for the trip, of driving down to Virginia and then getting our car on the train to take it down to Florida, to drive across Florida to go to St. Pete's where our vacation condo is. It was fun. I love that feeling of knowing something is coming, of a trip. So I prefer the anticipation over spontaneity. And I think that also ends up saving me lots of money, while at the same standpoint I'm spending, but I'm just spending more thoughtfully. And then there are other things. I mean, there's millions of things that we do. But that January no spend was just like fun for me. I wanted to see if I could do it. There's no reason for me to actually be that strict anymore, because I'm not at that place anymore where I used to be. But I like remembering. I don't ever want to be in the position where I forget my roots and forget where I started, because I don't want to be, I don't want to live well above or so much above my means, if that makes sense. And our expenses are vastly different today than they were years ago. And so for me, anticipation, the spreading things out, the using things up, really make a difference in our spending life. And it also contributes to our wealth. And at the end of the day, there's going to become a point in time where, and it's sooner than later for me, where I pull the plug on the paycheck. And so while having a paycheck, it does allow me to have a bit more potentially of, and I really want my spending to be that I don't have any restrictions when I do retire. So I rather have a really fat fire versus a lean fire in that mentality. And anyone who follows personal finance knows lean fire is when you really watch your finances, when you financial independence, retire early, but you have a limited number of income to live on. Whereas fat fire is you have a bigger pot of income that you live off of. Anyway, I'm more in the line of thinking for fat fire, but at the same standpoint, it doesn't mean that I don't want to enjoy my spending to the max. And so things that I do and things my husband and I do, it's just not to make things feel ordinary, make things feel special, make spending feel more enjoyable when you anticipate it versus, and then I'm not to say that like, oh, okay, let's go get a hotel this weekend and let's spend the weekend in the city. Sure, there can be some fun in that too, and we've done that, but I think I get to experience it twice when I actually get to have the fun in the city, and I get to anticipate having the fun in the city and looking at the things that I can go to do while I'm in the city. So because it's honestly not unusual for us to say, okay, let's make a staycation and let's go somewhere. Like for instance, in a few weeks from now, we're going to Long Island, and instead of staying at a sibling's house, we are staying we're staying in, what is it called? Port Jefferson Station, and we're trying to explore different areas of Long Island before we actually buy a house in the future. And so I'm trying to anticipate enjoying, and at the same standpoint, spend money, but spend money in a way that is really enjoyable not once, but sort of twice over. And I really think the art of anticipation is just fun. Anyway, this is Regina from Simply Fundamental. I don't even know if any of that made sense, but hope it does. Thanks. Bye.